Hereby call this council meeting held Monday, May 29, 2017 to order. I'd like to ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silence. Please be seated. Matters from a closed session held prior to this open session. We have moved by Councillor Guido and seconded by Councillor Somerville that Julie Kern, having resigned by being removed as the Chamber of Commerce representative on the Economic Development Advisory Committee, and that Birgitta McLeod be appointed to the Economic Development Advisory Committee as the Port Perry Business Improvement Area representative. Any questions on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. So next, moving to item 6, disclosure of pecuniary interest and nature thereof. Councillor Back.
Thank you. Through the Mayor, Section 9.2 and Section 11.1, 11.2.
Any other pecuniary interests? Councillor Kett. It's noted, same Section 9.2 and 11.1 and 2. Any other pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to announcements from council and then announcements from staff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to congratulate the Scugog Fire Department for their very successful Drive for 25 event that took place on a long weekend. I know most of council took time out of their weekend to go and collect money in a boot or attended the opening ceremonies, but truly a huge congratulations, Chief Bernie, goes out to your volunteer fire department that went above and beyond this weekend. The music was pumping at 9 a.m. and they kept going through the entire weekend. You guys met your goal and exceeded your goal, which is fantastic. And I don't want to steal your thunder in case you have an announcement. Okay, well, then everyone should be proud to know that Muscular Dystrophy Association selected the Township of Scugog as Fire Department of the Year. So on behalf of all of us at Council and all of the members of the Township, congratulations. Secondly, we have Tim Hortons Camp Day this Wednesday. I know most of us will be at a drive-through window on Wednesday. It's a great day to come out and volunteer, drop some money in the basket or boot, whatever they're doing to raise money there, and your local councillors will be there helping out. And I would also like to congratulate Director Coleman and her department. Last week they celebrated National Public Works Week, and on Friday the Mayor and I had the pleasure of going to the staff barbecue, and that's the day that they celebrated all the wonderful work that staff does. Director Coleman delivered a very heartfelt address to everyone in attendance, highlighting all of the work that the Public Works staff does throughout the year to keep this entire municipality running. So again, congratulations to your department. And this Thursday, June 1st, is the 3rd annual Jamie's Dream Gala. I'm not sure, Councillor Watton may know for sure if it's sold out, but hopefully if it's not sold out, so everybody needs to go and buy a ticket to support this event, and I'm sure most of council as well will be attending there. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Drew.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was so sorry to miss the barbecue last week. I was at a police board meeting all day, and I'm sure that you had a better lunch than I did. So my congratulations also to the Works staff and Director Coleman. Just to announce that the Community Care Walk is at 9 o'clock in Port Perry, on the 9th in Port Perry. The Community Living Walk is in Uxbridge at 11 to 2 on the 10th. Or they're both on the 10th, aren't they? Yeah, both on the 10th, sorry. And Ride for Dad is also on that day, so that's going to be a busy day in Port Perry in Scugog Township. And I have some very exciting news about a very respected business owner in town and a champion for tourism. Port Perry's very own Old Flame Brewing Company has once again been recognized for excellence in craft brewing. On Thursday night, April 27th, Old Flame Brewing Company was awarded the silver medal at the Ontario Brewing Awards for their Blonde Helles lager. I don't drink beer, I guess that's how you pronounce it. And then on Saturday night, May 27th, the Old Flame Brewing Company won its third National Brewing Award, taking home a bronze medal for its critically acclaimed Red Vienna lager, which previously won gold medals at both the Ontario and Canadian Brewing Awards in 2015. On the same night, Old Flame Brewing Company took home another National Brewing Award when its Brunette Dark Lager won the gold medal at the 2017 Canadian Brewing Awards held in Ottawa. And to top off these impressive accomplishments, the Old Flame Brewing Company was also recently recognized internationally when its Red Vienna lager was awarded a bronze medal for amber lagers at the Australian International Brewing Awards. We should be very impressed and proud of the accomplishments of our local craft brewery. In just under 3 years, they have done great things for our community. Founder and President Jack Doak has received both a Mayor's Honor Roll Award and a Heritage Award, and the Old Flame Brewing Company has been a great example of corporate citizen and business leader. It's a major tourism driver, bringing thousands of people to our community on a weekly basis all year round. We're Port Perry proud. Cheers to the Old Flame Brewing Company. I hope that we will send a letter of congratulations to Jack Doak and the Old Flame Brewing Company. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for the update. Congratulations to Old Flame. And next up is Councillor Somerville.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couple of things. Not that I'm a yard sale fan, but Seagrave Church held their 33rd year annual yard sale on our property this weekend, and there was 5 days of slugging, putting it out and cleaning it up. There was a lot of volunteers. We had a lot of people that came and went and took lots of stuff, and we grossed well over $12,000 for the community church, which is good. And not to forget that the G-Mums will be holding their yard sale this Saturday, June the 3rd. I think it's from 8 until 12 at the Scout Hall in Simcoe Street here. So those who are yard sale fans, get out there and purchase some goodies from the G-Mums now. Thank you.
Any other announcements from council? Okay, council announcements from staff, any that have not been addressed? Okay, great, thank you. Now we'll move on to presentations. We do not have any. And then the first delegation we have, Luann Young, Executive Director of TELUS Motorcycle Ride for Dad. Please come forward. And I know you've used these mics before, but just make sure the button is pressed on the base, and you have approximately 5 minutes to do your delegation. Thanks.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and councillors, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today representing the Ride for Dad. Our event this year, as you mentioned already, is on June 10th. This will be the 6th year that we've used the Scugog Community Recreation Centre as our main venue. And I'm here today to request that you deputize our ride. Once again, we have our Dane Regional Police Services Officer, Alan Willett, setting up a blockade of the streets with the Dane Regional Police Auxiliary. So from 10 o'clock to about 10:30, starting at the Scugog Community Recreation Centre and then going up to Simcoe, and then Simcoe down Queen and then Water, and then we stop the blockade up at the turnoff to the island. So just so you know, the streets will be closed down for our parade, hopefully with about 300 motorcycles. So if anybody rides, be sure to come and ride this year. Our registration is on the previous evening from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. And on the morning of the ride, it's from 7:30 to 9:30, and then our ceremony starts at 9:30. And once again, Mr. Mayor, we've invited you to come and speak to our riders if you can. And thank you for sending Councillor Blanket last year to come and speak to our riders. We really appreciate that. that. Do you see the motorcycle?
I do, and that's what my next question was, I have it on my calendar to attend as ride as well, as be there for the ceremonies. How long the ride goes till approximately what time?
Okay, the ride leaves at exactly 10 o'clock, and we have a little prayer, and it's going to take about 4 to 5 hours for the ride itself before you return back. I can just quickly tell you where it's going. It's on New Route this year. First, we're going to go east up to Classy Chelsea Cycles, and we're having our first poker stop there, and a little bit of tea. And then we're going to continue east this year, and we end up at the northeast end of West Lake, and we're going to have a poker stop at the Banjo Grill. And then we go south on the east side of West Lake, right down to the other end of it. And we have a third poker stop at Rhinos Roadhouse. And then we come back to Burberry, where then we have prizes and a barbecue to feed our riders and a band.
The reason why I was asking, because I have to decide if I can convince my wife to ride in the back, and I have to find out what the intervals are before she starts kicking me, saying that you gotta stop because she needs a break, but, no, that's good. I will, endeavor to ride, definitely be there for the opening ceremonies, and I haven't even been on my bike yet this year, so I'll get it out and probably be dirty, but I'll still ride.
You're not going to get a bike. We have sunshine, and we have the prices for the British bike.
That's what I'm going for then.
Okay.
So, questions from council? Thank you for the update and you know, on behalf of council for such a great worthwhile cause and raising awareness and funds for it. So, thank you on behalf of council, and I really appreciate the efforts and the time that's put into it, so.
Thank you.
Council, questions from council? Councillor Kett.
Hi, a great ride last year. How many riders are you expecting this year?
Well, we always hope for about 250 to 300 riders, but as you know, last year we had a big rain forecast. We ended up with 180 riders last year, and even though we had 100 less riders than the year before, we only raised $3,000 less. We still last year raised $42,000 in pledges. So that's the good thing about pledging online. If the riders don't come out, we still have the Classic Council pledge money. Okay?
Okay. Are there questions from council? Okay, thank you very much for the update, and I have to somehow figure out how to be in 3 places at one time, but we'll see what we can do about that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
So we have moved by Councillor Drew. We need a seconder to receive the deputation. Councillor Guido, are all those in favor? Carried. Next up, we have on the agenda is delegation by John Peaver and David Leroy. There's Mr. Peaver. Again, I just want to make sure that the mic button is pushed, and you don't have to speak too close to the mic, otherwise it distorts, but close enough that it picks you up, so, thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you all hear me? The light seems to be on. Is that better? How about this one? Okay, thank you. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Me again. I feel I'm before you more frequently than Roger Anderson at this point, which is quite unfortunate, really. But John couldn't be present tonight, so I'm filling in for the two of us on this deputation. We wanted to make our concerns known about the Integrity Commissioner's investigation that was launched against Councillors Back and Kett. And we wanted the mayor and council to understand the nature of our concerns and take them into consideration as you deliberate this issue. This won't take too long, but our most serious concern is that the appropriate and established procedural channels weren't followed in this investigation. The Code of Conduct states that council must improve an integrity investigation. This did not happen. Instead, staff triggered an investigation and recruited an integrity commissioner without council's express approval. This cost the taxpayers of this municipality approximately $26,000, which I think is a real waste of money, and in addition seriously damaged the reputation not only of the councils in question, but really of the council itself and the BIA as well. Based on the procedural irregularities, we suggest that council dissolve the current proceedings, given that the appropriate procedures were not followed. Our second concern is that the content and nature of the report itself is vague and provides no substantial evidence confirming the alleged behaviors of either councillor. In addition, the report attempts to summarize the findings for both councillors Back and Kett. And I think you would agree it's impossible that two people can exhibit the same behaviors as much as they may work together on council. The vague nature of the report, the lack of any documented evidence, and the fact that the two councillors are treated as one, we think provides insufficient detail to justify sanctioning either. We suggest that council therefore move to dissolve the current proceedings based also on the appropriate lack of evidence. Lastly, we find it deeply concerning that staff did not follow proper procedures. There are clear administrative procedures in place to ensure that matters of this nature are handled with balance and transparency. Certainly, I wouldn't think the first step in any investigation based on a complaint from a member of the community, from a member with staff, or from a member in a quasi-related organization such as the BIA, although the complainant in this case actually worked for the Chamber of Commerce. The first step is not to have an integrity commissioner come in and charge the council and community $26,000. We suggest that council issue an investigation as to why and how staff did not follow the procedures outlined in the Code of Conduct, given that such errors are costly, and we would wish and hope that such outcomes don't occur in the future. And I'd like to add that this isn't, in fact, even about councillors Back and Kett. I feel I would want to make these concerns known if any of you had to go through this type of process, which honestly has the smacking of a kangaroo court without any avenue of appeal for the people involved, which I think is extremely unfair, and certainly not helpful, I think, to resolving any disputes, given the nature of the investigation and the lack of appeal and transparency attached to it. So, in conclusion, I do hope that you will take our considerations under advisement and move that the current proceedings are dissolved. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the delegation. Questions to the delegate? Councillor Somerville?
Yeah, just a quick question. Would you repeat again exactly how much it cost to the township and the taxpayers of Scugog Township? Approximately?
Certainly, Councillor Somerville, I had made a request to the township, as it is public information, or can be made public, and I was advised that it was approximately $26,000.
Thank you.
Any other questions to the delegation? All right, I have a moved by Councillor Somerville, second by Councillor Watton, that the deputation providing comments regarding the Integrity Commission report we received. Any questions on that? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much for delegation. Now move on to the consent agenda part of our meeting. I just want to make sure that those who announce a pecuniary interest that are going to be pulled back into the council meeting because they left. Okay, so we have a consent agenda, and I have some pre-listed items that are to be pulled. It's item 10.1.5, the Music Festival Advisory Committee minutes, 10.1.7, unapproved BIA minutes, May 23rd meeting, and 10.4, bylaw to amend imposed fee services activities for drone, or done by on behalf of the Township of Scugog in the use of municipal property. Any other items that wish to be pulled from the consent agenda? All right, Councillor Watton? So 10.4, yes, they're the last 41.17, 41.17 is the last. So we have 3 items. Councillor Kett, we're just on the consent agenda. Were there any other consent items that you wish to be pulled? Yes or no? No? Okay, sorry. So on the remainder, we have a move by Councillor Drew that the items listed under Section 10 consent agenda be approved, save and accept the items to be extracted. We need a seconder for that. Councillor Watton? All those in favor? Carried. Moving on to the first item that's being pulled, Councillor Drew, 10.1.5.
Thank you very much. I just have a question about the music festival. It's no secret that I did not support going ahead with this. However, it was council's decision to go ahead with the music festival, and I truly, truly want this to be successful. But I have a concern on page 54. And I remember very clearly in past meetings 2 things. Councillor Back saying there will be no staff involvement, and then Councillor Kett saying that if it's not successful, or if it's not, doesn't look like it's going to be financially successful for us, that it would be canceled. So I'm looking under the tickets, and I'm concerned, and I just want to be assured, and perhaps I can ask the 3 champions for this, Councillor Back, Councillor Kett, and Councillor Somerville, can I have some reasonable assurance that we're going to be in the black after this festival?
Councillor Back?
Thank you. Through the Mayor. First off, I don't, in response to Councillor Drew's statement that I had said there would be no staff involvement, I don't recall saying that, and I don't recall why that would be. There's Secretary, there is Craig Belfry, obviously because of logistics, and any other staff that need be, just like the Canada Day Committee involves much more staff. With regards to ticket sales, as of last week, there was, I believe, 500, in the vicinity of about 500 tickets sold, and our event coordinator, which is a professional concert coordinator from BC, stated that he's pleased with the progress because it's such far out. We're still a good month or so away, and he's also from Port Perry and knows, logistically speaking, Port Perry ticket sales usually happen in the last 3 days before an event. The Port Perry Fair is a good example of that, and Terry Voss had confirmed that as well, looking at the Port Perry Fair sales last year and how the pattern of sales, 3-4 weeks out versus the last 3 days. And I don't think any of us can reasonably have a crystal ball and say that we're going to be in the black. We hope to be in the black, but if you recall, we only hope to make $528 profit, so I think we're going to get that.
Thank you. That was the answer to my question.
Good. I didn't have, next up, any other questions on that item? Councillor Watton?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just, if I could, to again, the champions of the music festival, how many tickets are we hoping to sell for Big Rec? I can't remember what the numbers were. Was that 3,000 or was it higher than that?
Councillor Kett?
Thank you. To break even is only about 500, which we've already done. So, the Juno nominee, Aaron Prichette, is a little bit slower right now, but the coordinator feels that everything's going actually a little bit better than he expected. But we are expecting 3,500 to 4,000.
Okay, thank you.
And just to add, I also too was updated on that, and I know that marketing efforts are being ramped up. I noticed banners are put up on fairgrounds, and it's populating around, and social media campaigns are starting to ramp up. Today, one was launched as an addition, I know, handout. So we'll be looking to see the uptake as we move forward. because I agree with Councillor Drew's comment, is that as a council, we need to support this in every way that we can to make sure it's a success. Any other questions on that item? So we need a mover for this. We have Councillor Watton as a seconder, so moved by Councillor Guido, seconded by Councillor Watton, that the minutes be endorsed. Any final questions on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Next item that was pulled was 10.1.7. Councillor Guido?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is regarding page 70 of the unapproved BIA minutes from Tuesday, May 23rd. One of the motions that were submitted on the minutes were that the forensic investigation preliminary findings letter be approved and emailed to the mayor and council. My question is, what would be the next steps, or is there communication going back to the BIA?
So I don't know about the communication back. This, to me, is a clarification point to ensure that that this is, even though it's a motion that's in here, is approve the letter, it's not asking for any specifics, and that by us receiving this as an endorsement of the minutes, that we're not approving the next steps that are within the letter, that it involves a set of steps required. So because it involves extra costs, any request for this needs to be approved by council, but through an amended budget approval, first approved by the BIA. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear, noted in here, that by us as a council endorsing these minutes, that was purely, there's no additional actions that we are approving on this. That this, it would have to go through proper channels and process. Any questions or updates or clarifications need to be done on? Okay, so again, I have Councillor Watton moved that report. Councillor Guido seconded that report, or that the BIA board meeting minutes be endorsed. All those in favor? Carried. Next item is that was pulled was section 10.44117 bylaw. Councillor Somerville.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things. On page 108 of the fees, the volleyball court, I didn't know we had one. Can you help me figure out where that is? Oh.
Yeah, behind the arena, those courts had...
Oh, okay. That's new, okay.
But you're not out there playing Saturday beach ball tournament, or...
If it's in sand, maybe I might come out.
There's sand there.
Oh, see, I don't even know that. Well, that's news to me, thank you. The other thing that is a portable toilet rentals, is that the one that's down by the dock that is $95, or is that all of them that are out throughout the township?
It's Mr. Belfry's report. I'm just looking at staff to see if anybody able to answer Councillor Somerville's question?
Nobody can answer.
So how about it gets taken back and thought was it something, clarification?
Well,
this before
I know
back?
there's one down by the dock, where the rowing club is. There might be two there, I think. I'll have a talk with Mr. Belfry on that one. Thank you. I won't go into anything more detail. Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions on that particular bylaw? We need a mover and a seconder for that, please. Moved by Councillor Guido, second by Councillor Watton. All those in favor? Carried. start this off with, I know many of the residents in the audience are here for this particular item. As I hope many of you know, that we strive to uphold high standard of values and integrity as your elected mayor and representative, and I've always endeavored to lead council in that regard. This issue has been under tremendous public scrutiny, discussion, and the impacts are far-reaching. The Integrity Commissioner's report has brought forward an increased awareness of how members of council should hold themselves to the highest standard to ensure fairness and respect and work together for goodwill and common good. Based on legal advice, I'm suggesting the report be received and no reprimand be imposed. And I have a motion here moved by Councillor Guido, seconded by Councillor Somerville, that the Integrity Commissioner's report dated February 27, 2017, and the supplemental report dated April 27, 2017 be received, and that no penalty be imposed on Councillors Back and Kett in regards to Integrity Commissioner's report. This motion has been moved, so now I look to Council for any discussion that they want to put forward. Councillor Drew.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I do appreciate the legal advice. However, I have to say this has been a long time coming. Mr. Elston was appointed as an unbiased and independent investigator who collected and documented massive amounts of hard evidence, viewed many hours of videos of our meetings, and interviewed many credible witnesses. It would have been much better for the community to have pulled this Band-Aid off when the recommendations from the Integrity Commissioner came before us 90 days ago. The deferral has resulted in an opportunity for a complaint to the Ombudsman, an even more scathing detailed report from the Integrity Commissioner, a group to lobby on behalf of the councillors, further hard feelings within the community, and prolonged pain for all those involved. The few letters we have received miss the point of the investigation. This is not about the BIA or the process. This is about public statements about a respected member of our community, and in the follow-up report further noted public disparaging and disrespectful statements about staff, former staff, other members of council, members of the BIA, including the complainant, in attempts to damage or injure reputations. This is not who we are. Never in the history of this township and its predecessors have we had to deal with such a situation. As members of council, there are ways we can ask questions to get the answers we seek. There are ways to make sure that due diligence has been sought. We seek the answers through the proper channels with our staff and through respectful and diplomatic interactions with everyone concerned. Again, this is not about the BIA, a totally separate issue. It is not about process. This is about disrespectful public interactions that were extremely serious, bordering, quote, bordering on accusations of criminal activity, unquote. And as the Integrity Commissioner has stated, this is simply not acceptable. This has reflected negatively on our township and the good people in it. It has invited close scrutiny from our people and of other levels of government. Scattered throughout the documents, we find words like, quote, malicious, intimidating, threatening, and coercing. Scugog residents deserve better, and a clear message needs to be given that this council does not condone such behavior. We, as the present council, will be held accountable, and the people of Scugog and throughout the province are waiting to see where this council stands on integrity. Should council fail to act on these recommendations from the Integrity Commissioner and turn a blind eye to an identified harassment complaint, it could result in greater national scrutiny and negativity towards this township. This council and the involved councillors need to recognize and resolve the situation. We need to approve this motion and move on in a more positive, respectful way. And I will ask for a recorded vote. Thank you.
I will have something else to add to that. Any other questions on the motion? Okay, Councillor Watt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would concur with Councillor Drew, and I personally would
hope that whatever the outcome of this, report and actions are, we have to move forward as a community, and we have to start looking together on how to rebuild what has been damaged. So whether you agree with what this council decides tonight, I implore that we all work together to build our community back.
Councillor Guido.
Thank you. Pardon me. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And while I myself as well hold all of us with the highest of integrity, my motion still stands on the basis that we've all received legal advice, and that's why my motion is there. Thank you.
Councillor Somerville.
I feel the very same way. I will stand behind by seconding that motion. I find it very difficult to hold anyone, especially in the offices that we hold at this present time, guilty. There are times when we say things, there's times when we do things that we shouldn't do and we shouldn't say, but I still feel that they have been penalized horrendously by the public and by the media for the past 90 days. And I would not want to be in their footsteps now. I think that we should just take it and take the advice from our lawyer, move on and rebuild, and each one of us forgive and forget, and make this a better community than what it once was. So I ask everybody in the audience to please forgive and forget and move on, because we all have to work together, we all have to live together, and we all go to the same functions as together. I don't want animosity amongst anyone. I want forgiveness, and that's a big word, and I want to move on. Thank you.
Okay, any further final questions? Again, I'm going to follow up with, depending on how this vote goes, with some final remarks. So, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time I'll take a recorded vote requested by Councillor Drew. Councillor Drew?
No.
Councillor Guido?
Yes.
Councillor Somerville?
Yes.
Councillor Watton?
No.
Mayor Rowett?
Yes.
3-2.
So, vote carries 3-2. So I just want to say that this is it's a lose-lose situation. We all lose. That it's sad that this has been a wedge between the business community, BIA, Chamber of Commerce, Council. So I wish to say that any municipality that finds themselves in this situation should seize an opportunity to take a step back and evaluate from the ground level up. On June 19th, myself and all members of council, senior staff will participate in an education and sensitivity training session. This session will provide presentations on Bill 168, Workplace Violence and Harassment. Also, provincial staff from the Ministry of Housing and Municipal Affairs will outline the roles and responsibility of councils, as well as council and staff relations. And thirdly, we, as a council, will also review our processes and procedures. I want to acknowledge at this time that Scugog relies greatly on our community partners and volunteers to drive forward initiatives and promote the town. We may have been divided, but this is now a time to move forward. I'd like to thank everybody for their understanding, and I too would like to echo that we need to move forward and let wounds heal. I'd like to now call on the next order of business. If any of you wish to leave at this time, we'll hold off for a few minutes. So, again. Okay, general correspondence. Item 14717. I don't know if anybody would like to get the other councillors out. Oh, sorry, this is community interest. The correspondence received by Mr. Peaver and Mr. Leroy, moved by Councillor Somerville, seconded by Councillor Watton, 14717, 14917, and 15117. Also correspondence including from Julia Marina Brock as well as Lana Crosby providing comment to Integrity Commissioner reports. Again, moved by Councillor Somer, moved by Councillor Watt, seconded by Councillor Watton. Any questions on those correspondence? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. So now, just to, if we could have the councillors' motion to come in. I don't know, Ms. Coleman, if you can see them out there, please. Okay, we're at item 12, which is notice of motions. If no notice of motions have been put forward, new business, general information, seeing none. Closed session is not needed. Confirming bylaw, we need a mover and a seconder for the confirming bylaw. Moved by Councillor Watton, seconded by Councillor Guido. All those in favor? Carried. Next item, motion to adjourn, moved by Councillor Somerville, seconded by Councillor Watton. All those in favor? Carried.